Hey, Chris. It's great to see you. I'm really looking forward to drawing with a brush, this new workshop that you're doing. Tell me, let's start at the beginning. Why draw with a brush?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think most people prefer a pen or pencil initially. The reason you do it is because a brush will actually give you more control if you use it right. And it gives you a much higher degree of expression and creativity with the variation of ink and brush.
Because I remember seeing you can draw really, really fine lines and really, really fat lines and everything in between using a brush. That's pretty amazing to me.
Yeah, it's actually a lot easier to do than most people would think, too. Just if you use the right tricks in your handling and control, you could pull hairlines with a pretty large brush, or you could pull really wide strokes. And the different shading techniques you could do, you could never replicate that with a pen.
So let's talk about what we're actually going to learn in this workshop. Can you break it down for me? Give me kind of the table of contents of the workshop?
Yeah, definitely. So the first thing we're going to learn is handling. And I think this is going to make an immediate impact with most people. Just changing the way you use a brush is going to change the quality of what you're able to create with the brush. After we do some handling and line work practice, we're going to learn lots of different shading techniques. So from very simple ones like feathering to more complex ones like cross hatching with the brush. And finally, we're going to close out with doing ink wash techniques and integrating that with flat ink work. So we're going to cover almost the whole range of what you could do with ink on paper.
So this sounds like it would be great for somebody who has never used a brush and had never even thought of it as a medium, but also great for people who maybe have tried it but really haven't figured out how to master it, because you are a master of using the brush and you're going to show us all these kinds of advanced techniques.
If you've never used a brush on paper before, this is perfect. It's just going to completely break open a new world of possibilities for you. Uh, the first time I used ink wash with this technique, I couldn't even sleep. I was so excited that night of the possibilities. At the same time, if you've used ink on paper before, we're going to get into some pretty advanced techniques. And hopefully, it'll be a great workshop for people of any skill level. I know for me, I've been doing ink on paper for most of my life, and I'm still learning new techniques. So there's no ceiling to how much you can do with ink.
I remember the first time somebody said, you should check out Chris's work. He does amazing stuff with a brush. And I looked at your work and I thought, well, where is that work? Because all I'm seeing is stuff that must have been done with like Illustrator or something like that. It's also perfect and sharp. And then I realized, like, no, it's amazing. It's magical what you're able to do with a brush that I had didn't even realize was possible. So your work is just incredible, and learning from you seems to me to be the ultimate if you want to tackle this medium.
I really appreciate that. I love teaching. I taught at CCA in San Francisco for almost 15 years, and ink was a class I created, and I taught that for several years. And a lot of professional illustrators who use ink as a medium took that class. So they've also expanded it beyond whatever I taught them. So hopefully, something like this is a great place to start using ink. But after you take the workshop, you'll be able to create techniques I haven't thought of. You'll be able to expand it and just open up more creative avenues for yourself.
What's great about this workshop also is we're going to learn these fundamentals about how to use the tools and to do all these variations, but we're also going to end up with a really cool drawing at the end of it. You're going to take us step by step through making a final piece of art. So it's incredible the progress that we're going to make in just a couple of hours during this workshop. That's going to be really fun.
Oh yeah, and that's one of my favorite parts about ink is if I'm doing client work, I could do a finished piece in 3 hours from the time I sketch to the time I send to a client. And I've done ink pieces for clients in 90 minutes.
Amazing.
And there's no compromise in quality. It's just a medium that goes fairly quickly. the amount of ink you're able to put down and sculpt into a piece, it happens fast.
Right. So it's a cool new technique that I think, you can spend decades learning to master it, but you can also make giant leaps forward in your learning just in a couple of hours at a workshop. So this is going to be really exciting. The workshop is coming up soon. You can sign up for it at sketchbookskool.com, and you'll also have an opportunity to sign up for a feedback session where you can show Chris what you've made and get his response to it and his tips and advice. It's going to be a really, really transformative workshop, and I can't wait. Just talking to you, I've already started to change how I use a brush pen, and I've seen the possibility. So it's really good. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for doing this too.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.